Hi everyone! If you want to know the cultural traits of a nation, it is imperative to look through the window of its language and script. Chinese characters are also known as Hanzi. They are the oldest continuously used writing system in the world. Now Chinese people are still able to read and understand the poems written in ancient time. In this section, we will give an introduction to Chinese characters, and it serves as a threshold to the Chinese civilization. You will also come to know the involvement of different forms of Chinese characters, how they look like in the past and the present. Now, the Chinese Han characters are neat in appearance and all occupy the same spacing in printing. Some Chinese characters are written with only 1 or 2 strokes, such as E1 and R2, and some with over 10 strokes, such as Can, meal, and Xi, sunrise. Some have square forms, such as Tian, fields, Ben, a region, and some have crooked forms, such as Wo, I, and Xin, heart. But all are printed out in identical size. With respect to this shape of script, Chinese Han characters are figuratively referred to as square script. Chinese character writing is an art and has a high aesthetic value. Since the olden days, there have been controversies regarding the origin of the Han characters. A legend goes that Tang Jie invented the characters. Tang Jie was a deity with 4 eyes. He was enlightened by the beauty in nature and invented Chinese characters. Actually, the Han characters were not the invention of any deity, but were developed over a long course of history. As one of the earliest scripts in the world, Chinese characters have a history more than 4,000 years. The oldest characters we see today are the oracle scripts on the tortoise shells and animal bones in the Shang dynasty, and scripts carved on bronze wells. In 2019, China held a series of events to commemorate the 120th anniversary of the discovery of oracle inscriptions. We can see pictographic characters on the porcelains as the size of the 二里头 culture and 大汶口 culture. The forms of Chinese characters have developed from oracle script to seal script, official script, regular script, cursive script, running script, and the modern simple script. All the forms are varied and handsome, the strokes of which can be straight, flamboyant, dignified, or vigorous. The art of calligraphy is a perfect manifestation of the marvelous strokes of Chinese characters, which holds a unique position in all the arts of script around the world. There is an idiom in the Chinese culture called 字如其人, which means that one's handwriting reflects one's character and personality. Since appearance, Chinese characters have been invented according to different rules. Xu Sheng, from the Han dynasty, classified characters into 6 categories, namely pictographs, simple ideographs, compound ideographs, phonetic loans, pictophonetic compounds, and derivative characters. Chinese characters are made on the basis of pictographs, and most take the form of phonetic compounds. Less than 5% are categorized as pictographs, including many of the simplest characters such as 人, human, 日, sun, 山, mountain, and 水 water. Between 80% and 90% were classified as pictophonetic compounds, such as 钟 clock, combining a phonetic radical 钟 middle with a semantic radical meaning metal. The 18th century Kangxi Dictionary recognized 214 radicals, which are basic components of Chinese characters. Indicative characters are formed with marks or with marks and pictograms. For example, the small scale script 上 up and 下 down are written in the following shapes. In some way, the indicative characters are similar to the pictographic characters, but the indicative characters portray the matters and the pictographic characters describe the shape. Associative characters are combinations of pictographs to create a new meaning. For example, 众 is made up of 3 人 and it means a crowd of people. There are currently 2 systems for Chinese characters. The traditional system used in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Macau, and Chinese-speaking communities outside mainland China takes its form from standardized character forms dating back to the late Han Dynasty. The simplified Chinese character system, introduced in 1954 to promote mass literacy, simplifies most complex traditional glyphs to fewer strokes. For example, simplified 风 with 4 strokes is simplified from traditional 风 with 18 strokes. The advantage of traditional characters is that they offer a stronger and richer connection with the history of the Chinese language. The simplified characters have reduced the complexity of traditional Chinese writing system, and learners feel easier to learn and write Chinese characters. The famous cartoonist Feng Zikai has drawn a cartoon to show the distinction between the traditional and simplified characters, the latter being simpler and easier to grasp. The system of Chinese characters incorporates sounds, forms, as well as meanings, which made it difficult to learn. Let's talk about 3 differences between Chinese characters and Western words. First, in terms of the number of language symbols, Chinese have far less words than Western languages. Chinese has about 10 basic strokes and more than 200 character components. There are about 11,000 characters listed in the authoritative Xinhua Dictionary. The English language has 26 letters and over 1,000 morphemes. Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English has 50,000 to 6,000 words in it. Why is there a big contrast between Chinese and English words? The main reason is that there is no equivalent of Chinese characters in English. That is to say, people have to make words from morphemes, which have given rise to a large number of vocabulary. However, the Chinese words are combinations of characters which are made up of character components. For example, 大学 university is a combination of 大 big and 学 school or study. While in English people have to create a new word, university. Second, the Western alphabetic words may have several syllables, and most Chinese characters appear in a monosyllabic pattern. The Western words depend on the combinations of syllables to convey meanings. They have root, prefix, and suffix to represent different meanings, while the one-word Chinese characters depend on their sound and tone to convey the meaning jointly. A distinctive feature of Chinese characters is that they use tones as an added feature, which becomes a difficulty for learners from other countries. There is a famous couplet on the Shanghai Pass of the Great Wall. The couplet includes 14 similar words. The pronunciations are similar, but the different tones of the characters carry subtle difference between each other. They are read as 海水潮，朝朝潮，朝潮朝落，浮云长，长长长，长长长消。Thirdly, we can predict the meanings of the Chinese characters. The current Western alphabetic scripts are incomprehensible by themselves, as Saussure stated in the beginning of the last century. There are no inherent relationship between language forms and their meanings in a general sense. However, Chinese characters are different. In brief, the non-alphabetic square script of Chinese characters are ideographs. Many Chinese words in their square forms can reflect the meanings and pronunciations. A basic principle of coining Chinese words is to make pictographs based on the nature and shape of things. To sum up, Chinese characters reflect Chinese people's life thousands of years ago and reveal their views towards the world and the universe. Chinese characters are vivid, practical, and aesthetical. Its practical value is hidden in the philosophy of greatness in simplicity. Its aesthetic value lies in the shapes of characters, which advocate the state of balance and harmony. Chinese characters are as vivid as pictures in shapes, as melodious as songs in sounds, and as beautiful as poems in meanings. Hope you will like this old but everlasting masterpiece of the Chinese civilization. That is the end of this lecture. See you in the next section.